I'll be honest, the format I work with is kind of simple. I see something online that gets me hot and I make a video about it. Inspiration can be found anywhere if you look hard enough. Hello everyone, it's me, Goose. Here to cover the latest anti-Trump game, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is the ultimate game that will end up being Nintendo's greatest response to the alt-right since the concept of homosexuality was born. Anyway, let me not talk about politics like I know what the fuck I'm saying. Let's all talk about criticism in gaming. Okay, so as many of you may know, fucking all of you should know, but in chance that you don't know, Breath of the Wild just recently came out, and it's left this whirlwind of love and praise from left and right. All that ooey gooey, yummy, delicious word of mouth just coming from everyone's household. Except for me, of course, because I'm poor as fuck and I can't afford shit in my life. Everyone loves this fucking game, and the reviews are through the roof. Just like my parents' expectations of me being a better person in life versus the reality of me being a real scumbag that nobody likes and has $10 in his bank account. So it's a great game and all, or so I've heard, and I think lots of people are really enjoying themselves and have the right to call it their game of the year, even though they still have like 9 more months of this shitty year left, and the game only recently came out to the public about 3 days ago. But I digress. For many people, I can see how this game can justify being the greatest game they've ever played as of late or ever, perhaps even rivaling that of The Witcher 3, another critically acclaimed sandbox game. It's so good, in fact, that some people think that only dumbass edgelord can come up with a negative review of the game on YouTube. Now we're getting into the meat of this video. Yes, this is the tweet that set me off, and the tweet that made me want to make this video in the first place. First off, let me acknowledge a few things. Yes, I understand who Sky Williams is. I'm subscribed to the man and I've followed him for a long time. Lots of his self-motivating videos have helped me throughout the past year of my life, but I mainly sub to him for the comedy because I do legitimately think he's a funny guy. Secondly, I understand tackling his tweets, in turn tackling his character, is a very stupid move for me. He has the fan base and followers to demolish me. He is a Goliath that dwarves my David subscribers. Third, I understand that when he made his tweet, he doesn't actually mean you can't think Breath of the Wild is bad, rather that it's almost impossible to hate this game. And finally, yes, I also get that his tweet has some follow-up tweets, but we'll get to those later. Alright, now that I've signed my death warrant, let's all talk about this shit and why it pisses me off. So like I said earlier, I know Sky didn't make this tweet to discourage anyone to make a negative review on Breath of the Wild. I just think he's thinking to himself that there's probably going to be a few wannabe angry video game nerds who will just hate this game for the sake of views and attention. Trust me, I know. However, in making such a vague tweet, he kind of pissed off a lot of folks, and for good reason. For one thing, I don't think most people have insight on what Sky's thinking when he makes tweets like these. Because fucking hey, it's the internet, not a crystal ball. We can't all tell what kind of things people intend to say just by vague tweets. So of course people immediately assume that Sky is just saying, fuck all negative reviews, Breath of the Wild is king. In fact, it doesn't help that he made a follow-up tweet that said anyone saying Breath of the Wild is bad is either A, mad cause they ain't got a Switch, B, a bitch nigga, C, hates change and fun in all caps, and D, a bitch ass nigga. So we've shifted from people who think Breath of the Wild sucks to people who just think it's bad. Which, I don't know about you, kind of seems like Sky was really hammering the fact that he doesn't think there should exist a negative review of the game at all. At least that's how I and a ton of people seem to have interpreted it as. But of course, things got out of hand and he made the next condescending tweet, which is basically a 2-minute video of slowly explaining in detail how his past 2 tweets were jokes, and that you basically have to be a fucking idiot not to see that.
But Kyle, that's what's written. I know, Mary. It's a fucking joke. Wesley, how could you tell it was a joke? Well, Molly, I opened my fucking eyes and I realized that none of these options were for me.
Oh yeah, sure, okay. Just like how you'd have to be a fucking idiot not to see that those news articles about Breath of the Wild being Nintendo's answer to the alt-right are fake as fuck. God, Sky, just open your fucking eyes. So all that backpedaling aside, why am I bringing this up? Am I here to bash Sky and his character? A little, I guess, but mostly just to say how dumb it is to belittle people who have other opinions than you, especially when it comes to a fucking video game review. I'm sure Sky doesn't think anyone who said Breath of the Wild sucks is a terrible person, but at the same time, I'm not buying that he meant this one tweet as a joke. Listen, despite what he said, these kinds of comments damage the integrity of reviews. People who just make fun of others with different opinions and viewpoints on a video game or concepts or whatever kind of make it hard to take those kinds of reviews seriously. I don't own Breath of the Wild, but even I can tell that from some of the gameplay that there is some worthwhile complaints to make about the game. From the shitty frame rate dips, to the durability not being shown on screen or anywhere else in the game, to the stamina not being enough even after you've gained more of it, etc, etc. To some it might seem like a nitpicky thing, but to others it's what breaks their experience with the game. Now, I'm not sure if this game deserves anything below a 4 out of 10, but I also don't know if it deserves anything above an 8 out of 10 either. That's for everyone else to decide. But if we decide to ignore the problems and be ignorant of them, then we'll be left with consumers that are just none the wiser. That's the point of a review, to inform the audience of what they're getting themselves into. And if we're gonna seriously demolish the opinions of those who think it's a bad game because it doesn't match up with the majority or our own blind fanboy experiences, then we're just being arrogant and stupid. Now, of course, there are going to be trolls who only want to make videos on how the game sucks for no reason to get views and attention, but I have faith that the majority of people who see these kinds of reviews can tell that it's just a troll. And if you're having trouble telling the difference between a legitimate critique versus a troll, try comparing that one negative review with another review, or look at the comment section. Yeah, believe it or not, that actually helps sometimes. Look, I know I'm being oddly enraged by this sort of topic, but I really hate it when people think negative reviews are bad reviews automatically because they don't meet the standards that other reviewers have set. This was like back when Fallout 4 came out and people were bashing on game sites that reviewed the game with less than an 8. It's so fucking stupid. Like, we're all playing the same game, right? I didn't just imagine those terrible glitches. I didn't just forget about that boring story or that shitty dialogue wheel or the fact that the game isn't at all different from Fallout 3. There are so many things to complain about with the game, but there's also a ton of fun and awesome things about the game. So much so that it could be an 8 or higher. My point is, unless the game is spotless and perfect in every way, there's no reason anyone should look down on negative reviews on popular games, because there always will be something that can ruin someone else's enjoyment. It's like when The Know had that one special Fallout 4 episode on their podcast, and when Meg Turney said she hated how there are some people who reviewed Fallout 4 negatively for attention and praise.
And it's people who review shit low, because I feel like people do that to be like, we're different.
Yeah.
Everybody get Fallout 4, 90s and up, 70.
Yeah.
Like, you're not different or special just because you review a game low.
Look, we have legitimate things to say, and if we don't rate it low, you won't know how legitimate they are.
Yeah, nobody will come to our site to look at it.
No,
Like,
totally
another
agree. I feel
90? Whatever.
Yeah, people are...
Specifically, Giant Bomb's Jeff Gersman, who gave it, I believe, a 3 out of 5 stars in his console review. His PC review, and gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, which doesn't sound that bad to me. And everyone laughed and laughed like they were in a sitcom, making jokes while wearing Pip-Boys and being sponsored by Bethesda. It was seriously like a parody of itself. And no, motherfuckers, y'all can't say that that was a joke, because I mentioned that shit as a joke on your Reddit page, and y'all fucking blocked me on your stupid ass shit. You know, suck my dick. I understand that there might be some hypocrisy on my part, because I made a video talking about how I hated the cynicism of modern video game reviews. I do think a lot of them are negative for negative's sake, and I mentioned one particular review that was filled to the brim with negative things about Fallout 4, but a lot of those critiques just never made sense to me. Like, how does an overpriced DLC equal the game itself to be bad? It's a shitty price, sure, but I don't think it merits any deduction for the base game itself. Regardless of what I thought, I understood that these were his viewpoints and that he is very passionate about not liking Fallout 4. While his reasons may be different than mine, and I vehemently disagreed with many of his points, I do see that he legitimately believes in what he critiqued. So there's no point in me saying that he's dumb for believing so. Just like how I don't think it's dumb for some people to think Fallout 4 was the greatest game ever made. In the end, it's all a matter of opinion, and I think it's fucking stupid to let someone down because of that. Alright, well, thank you all so very much for watching. If you liked that video, hit the like button. I don't fucking know. If you liked it really hard, like hard as hell, then subscribe for more stupid shit. And Sky, if you're watching this and you got offended or whatever you homosexuals get, then I'll be waiting for my diss track later this year. Or maybe I'm just not that important to you. I really do think I'm the latter, so I'll just sit here and live a benign life. Oh, and also, if any of you would like to check out my GoFundMe for my book, Sam Died Today, then the link will be in the description below. It's a pretty serious book on the death of Sam, my main character, and how different people are reacting to his death. Some people grieve, and some others don't know how to feel. Check it out. Again, thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. I love y'all. Bye.